What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rain Day, and today you want to know why this Bloodhound buff is way bigger than you think. Yes, why Bloodhound is now in a completely different position after these changes than Bloodhound was beforehand in Apex Legends Season 4. After receiving 2 successive buffs in this season, you think maybe this is just another quality of life change. Maybe you think this is something that will just fall under the radar, that will make people just like Bloodhound if they've already liked Bloodhound, but it's not going to convert the lifeline mains, the crypto mains to playing something like this legend. But you may be very, very wrong, and I'm here to tell you why. In this video, I've got 5 reasons as to what is going on with this new Bloodhound buff, why it's so important, why I'm making this video in the first place, and also why I think and what I think you should be doing now that Bloodhound has these changes and how you should shift the way that you're playing them. All that in this video and the gameplay of the new changes to Eye of the Allfather as well. So leave a like if you enjoy it, comment down below, and also subscribe to stay tuned for more stuff like this on the channel. We're looking at some cool things over the weekend or starting next week, so get ready. And I know that Legends, ranking every Legends video, it is coming out. Do not worry, it is coming out. I'm just gathering footage, all right? So let's talk about what the buff is. The first thing, let's talk about what is the buff. We have the why. The designer intent for Bloodhound is clear. They put a designer note in the patch notes, which you guys can read in the comments below, excuse me, in the description. And if you saw the dev episode number 4, you'll notice that they spent some time talking about Bloodhound's changes and why they made these changes. The intent is for Bloodhound to use their tactical as they are approaching towns pre-combat versus reacting while in a fight. Now, this is a completely different reimagining of what Bloodhound had been doing in previous Apex Legends iterations of the meta. Bloodhound is the aggressor, right? The one who's like, hey, I know where they went, I'm on their tail, and I'm about to start this fight. I hope y'all are with me. Let me pop my movement speed. Let me see them with that, infrared, like I got my digital threat, and let's go in. However, that's not what Bloodhound is meant to do. Bloodhound is a recon legend, and just like other recon legends, especially like Crypto, who really fits that mold perfectly, he's supposed to gather information for the team and allow you guys to make better decisions. And Bloodhound was being played very, very aggressively. This idea is that pre-combat use of the tactical Eye of the Allfather is not what you should be doing. You should be going into a town, getting ready to fight, but setting up and giving your team information as to what you're about to approach into. So it's a completely different mindset. In society, we kind of like, imagining the roles people should play, right? We always imagine somebody's identity, the way they dress, the way that they look. It's very appropriate talking about this legend as well. But sometimes we try to fit square pegs into round holes. Like there's no fit for that. And unfortunately, it leaves other legends out. Like if this character doesn't do exactly what Wattson does, because Wattson is top tier, then we don't play them. But why is no one thinking that, well, why don't we just shift the meta or change the way we think the game should be played? And then that legend might be better in terms of what they're providing with this new composition than Wattson and that team ever was. And that's what I think is happening here with Bloodhound. Bloodhound is much more of a tactical set-up legend now that will support you and your team in taking better fights and putting yourselves in positions to win those fights 9 times out of 10. I mean, this scan is nuts. Here are some of the changes, because I honestly think Bloodhound is really in competition with Crypto and Pathfinder in this recon style. Pathfinder, obviously a better individual legend, but we'll talk about that in just a sec. Number 2, what was the change? So the change is they've increased the scan distance for Eye of the Allfather by not 1 time, not 2 times. Gonna get 2 times. Gonna get 2 times. No, it's 3 times. 3! Imagine, okay, take all the money you got right now and times it by not 1, because we could all do that. We all do that right now. Times 2, and now times 3. That puts a smile on your face on Friday, right? Imagine your paycheck today is 3 times bigger. That's a huge difference. And Bloodhound has that now every 35 seconds with the Eye of the Allfather. It is a huge change to allow this thing to not only be so much bigger, but to truly say, I'm going to scan this entire hallway in front of me and make sure no one is on this side or that side. It's a game changer. And then you also look at the increased time to activate, 0.4 seconds to 0.8 seconds. They've doubled the time on that, so it takes a little bit longer. But again, it's supposed to be used pre-fight versus in-fight, which is very, very good. You'll use his ultimate Beast of the Hunt for the in-fight changes, for the in-fight boost. But then also they've increased the duration of the scan from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So there's a really strong, I think, bit of information that's happening that you're gathering while playing Bloodhound. And the fact is that it's longer, it's bigger, you see players more often and for longer durations, and the scan lasts, so that is a complete nightmare to play against. And I played against this thing. So let's talk about number 3, how it helps you in a team fight when you're using it. All right. I played against the Bloodhound, and you might have seen this video before, where I actually just recently was playing a game with the new Sentinel. Now, in the end of that game, we're playing against the Bloodhound, and their tactical absolutely destroyed us because of the fact that we did not have any ability to run away from the information they were gathering each time they used it. Every 35 seconds, hello, I see you. I know where you are. Are you healing? You crouching? Are you with yourself? Are you with your team? Are you by yourself? And we should push you every single 35 seconds. So this is really a crippling thing for teams who are trying to sneak by, maybe 2 players, or maybe one person gets away and they're totally isolated. And guess what? Maybe there's a rat and you want to find out where they are. Bloodhound has become the best legend in the game at finding rats now. And this really does allow you, I think, better than Crypto, who has to now manually use the drone or have somebody run into the drone. It makes a noise. You can see it. If you want to be a rat, you can kind of avoid that for a while. Bloodhound walks up, looks to the left or the right, hits their Q, excuse me, and it's game over. They know exactly where you are. And this is really the big conversation. Information is power. We talked about that. Knowledge is power. You know, Ty Lopez said knowledge, right? And he has his books in the back. People do relate knowledge to power. That's because it's true. If you have more information, that means you have the ability to take better fights. And that power leads you to ultimately win more fights because you know something that your enemies do not. You know where they are, you know where they're moving, and Bloodhound is a pest in that regard now. I'm telling you, you got to try it out for yourselves. It is an unbelievable shift as far as the pressure that he's applying, because people are no longer able to be sneaky. They're no longer able to hide if there's a Bloodhound on your team. Now, you look at the comparison between Crypto, you look at the comparison between Pathfinder. Let's go into number 4, because this is a big one. Teams can legitimately gain value from Bloodhound in a recon role. Now, Bloodhound, like I said, competes directly with Pathfinder and Crypto. Pathfinder is a better individual legend than either of those by far because of his grappling hook and his zip line. He also provides utility for himself and his team, and his passive is just super strong and high-level competitive because he can now scan where the next circle is going to be to allow early rotations to set teams up, which is kind of how you play high-level right now. Now, Crypto is a pretty good recon legend and has a high-end potential to be better than Bloodhound, in my opinion, as far as recon. He also has an amazing team-wide ult that can set up a lot, even though it sacrifices him being middle of the fight, but it does really help set up his teammates and hurt the team and their resources. However, as an individual legend, he's got no self-stims. He is not very good. He's literally just a body out there. Now, Bloodhound is bringing the best of both worlds. Bloodhound is bringing a tactical that now gathers information as well, especially maybe even better because of the lack of time it takes and the valuable information that goes to you and your teammates with his tactical and how big it is in late game fights. Better than Crypto, better than Pathfinder, even though he doesn't have that setup. And he also has a great ultimate that allows him to have an individual stim that was buffed earlier on in the season. Now, you look at that stim, also adding 5 seconds for every down that you get, also adding the movement speed. I believe it's about 30% movement speed that he's gathering from that. The ability from, they are gathering from that. Bloodhound is doing a fantastic job of competing now in the recon role. I don't think that players are going to use the same Watson composition with a Bloodhound. However, what I do think is that Bloodhound now has the ability to start an entirely new composition that can be based around having more mobile, more individually, I think, aggressive legend potential, while still getting the same recon potential, so to speak. Say you have a team with like 3 crazy fraggers, and none of them want to take the dip on Watson. I honestly think about a lot of this like NRG is one of the teams that I've thought about this often, because you look at Frex kind of shifting into more of a defensive role when this guy is a fragger. What if there's some way to shift that role that he's playing into, okay, I'm utility, I'm providing that for my team, I'm sticking back, I'm maybe playing that sniper role, as you guys are seeing in this video, kind of gathering information, not committing too hard, but I'm still able to get aggressive in my ultimate when I want to, when the fight is on the line. It's a very interesting concept, and here's number 5. Here's why it's way better than you think. Here's why. Bloodhound is still underrated. That's right. Bloodhound, no matter what these changes, no matter what I say in this video, no matter what people think, it is going to take time for these changes to start showing effect, to people to start realizing, wow, this Bloodhound ultimate is oppressive. I feel like I'm being monitored, like I got a baby monitor and a camera, you know, in my room every single second. I can't have a moment of privacy. These changes are going to start becoming day by day as you play more and more against and as Bloodhound, pervasive to the community of Apex Legends. And I think that people are going to start experimenting. It is not long ago where I heard tales of a very dangerous European team called LG running a little Bloodhound in some of their EU scrims for the ALGS and some of their games. And I honestly think that it is just about time for Bloodhound to make an appearance. We saw Crypto a little bit, and I think Bloodhound could be next. But my big question is, guys, why do you think this is the case now? Do you think really that this tactical has really shifted the way people will think about Bloodhound? Do you think the ability is that good and you can still play him aggressively? Will you use this in fight? Or will you just allow this to really shift the role of what Bloodhound is doing and try to not make him compete with something that they're not, but allow them to be their own different thing that stands alone and also provides a valuable utility for the team? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like the video if you enjoyed this conversation. Comment down below what you think about the Bloodhound buff and subscribe to the channel. Never give up, never stop gaming. I'll see you all next time.